Hello, this is Floyd Humphreys at floydhumphreys.com, and today I want to talk about batteries, off-grid batteries, solar system batteries, deep cycle batteries, and I hope that I can give you something that'll help you. Now, batteries, of course, if they're not deep cycle, then you run them dead a few times and then they're ruined. And of course, deep cycle batteries, you can run these particular ones, you can run them dead, you can cycle them 1,000 times. So if you run them dead every night 1,000 times, that's 3 years, and then they'll be ruined. So you can run them dead every night, and then you'll have to buy new batteries every 3 years. Now, if you keep the state of charge above 70 or 80%, they'll last you 10 years. Now, if you keep it above 80%, 80, 90%, they'll last you 20 years before you need to replace them. So the best thing to do is keep them charged all the time. So what you want to do is have enough batteries to cover your needs, and then have sufficient means to keep them charged, regardless of the load you put on them. So now, for instance, I've got some solar panels up there, and I've also got some solar panels over there, and so they will keep my battery bank charged all the time. And then now, here's some batteries. This one right here, this is what happens when a battery is dead in the wintertime and freezes. And of course it breaks, and then of course the battery is ruined. And of course, needless to say, they're not under warranty if they've been frozen. Now, while we got one open here, and you can kind of get a view of the plates a little bit, maybe if I can zoom in there a little bit, I don't know. See what we got. But anyway, so that'll give you an idea of what's inside of a battery. But one thing about batteries, now, I'd say over 80% of the time, when a battery goes dead or is ruined, and of course you can put your battery tester on it and it'll say that it's junk, and so what happens, I'd say over 80% of the time, there isn't anything physically wrong with the battery. In other words, the case is in 100% good condition, the plates are in 100% good condition, the electrolyte is brand new in 100% good condition, and yet the battery fails to perform. Well, why is that? Well, if you leave a battery dead for an extended period of time, it begins to sulfate. And the electrolyte, the sulfuric acid, will actually put a coating on those plates that insulates the plates from the acid. And so you got perfectly good plates, you got them in a perfectly good case, you got perfectly good electrolyte, but the battery's junk. Why? Because the battery acid isn't actually even touching the plates. Why isn't it? Well, it isn't because there's a layer of sulfates insulating the acid from the plates. Now, if you can resolve that situation, then you can take a battery that someone has thrown away and you got a brand new battery. So there is ways to rejuvenate batteries. Now, there's a couple of different ways you can do it. One is you can take and cut the top of the case off and just cut around there. When you lift the top off, the plates come out with the top because they're hooked to the posts. And then that leaves you an empty case. And then, of course, you get rid of all of the crud that's at the bottom. When people use water that's not distilled water, then there's minerals in it. And what happens is the minerals, they get between the plates, and you know, sometimes they fall at the bottom of the case and short the plates out, and you know, so you should never use just regular drinking water. You should use distilled water. But anyhow, you can take a welder and put it on low amps. You don't want to melt the battery, but you can bzz, and it will zap all of the crud off of those plates and make them brand new, or relatively brand new. And then you just put the top back on and put some epoxy around it so it doesn't leak. Or, if you happen to have cases, if you buy a rebuilt battery, that's what they've done, but they put it in a brand new case. Now, there's another way to do that, and that's with a battery desulfator. Now, with a battery desulfator, you just put that on your battery bank, and here's a battery desulfator. And so what this does is it sends out a series of pulses, and it runs off of the battery's own juice. So you hook positive to positive, negative to negative, and then the battery that it's desulfating actually powers it, the unit, but it sends a certain frequency constantly to those plates that knocks the sulfates off. And so you can just leave it on a battery bank, and then your battery will never sulfate in the first place. And so that's one thing you can do. And of course, you can, if a battery's ruined, you can put one of those on it and knock the sulfates off, and then the battery will take a charge, hold a charge, and be a relatively good battery. When you rejuvenate a battery like this, it'll never be actually 100%. It'll never be like brand new, but it'll be probably better than 80%. So, a lot of times people throw these away. Now, that's another thing about throwing them away, and things about battery core charges and things like that. Now, like if you go to AutoZone or something, they'll charge you $28 for a core charge. Well, of course, I sell batteries. I'm a battery dealer, and I don't have a core charge, But the thing is, they're in it to make money. And so, but if you go to a recycler, and like if you look in the classified ads, somebody will pay $2 to $5, for dead batteries, and because they're going to recycle them, because the lead is worth money. And sometimes they'll give you $2 or $5 for a battery, but yet if you go to AutoZone, say, they will charge you $28 for a core charge. Now, the thing is, if you have a lot of batteries, and like I do, there's just a few right here that I haven't had the gumption because it's been winter. They've been sitting there for 3 months. But anyhow, when I get a pallet or two of batteries, then I'll sell them, and I'll get, it depends on the price of lead, but maybe I'll get $30 for one battery. So that's the way you got to do it. But when you sell them like that, they're not going to come buy one. They want to come buy, 50. So, but then if you're selling 50, for $30 each, so there's some money. So, and it don't take long if you're a dealer to accumulate 50 batteries, because people think they aren't worth anything, but they really are. But anyhow, if you like this video, I hope you click like, and you can subscribe to my channel. I've got other videos. I've got videos about how to earn money while living off grid. And but what I want to do, I'm going to start making incredibly informative videos about the inside of the alternative energy business, because you can make quite a bit of money, really, and I can just pass on some ideas that I've learned over the years and that will help you. And so if you keep coming back, why, you'll be finding out new stuff. Anyway, so I have a alternative energy informative site, and I'll put a link to that at the bottom of this. I'll even put a link where you can make some residual income, and I'll put them under this video. And I hope you have a great day.